9228.
Telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can.
I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Fat broads and horse face.
Shut up, silly woman. You know, they used to say Abraham Lincoln got the worst press. I said, there's no way he got worse than me.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Feeling very much like I love America today. And that's thanks to my good buddy, Eddie. And, well, I don't know if we should both be wearing these things, though, on the same day, Eddie.
Why's that?
Because just look at it on camera.
We're electric, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good to me.
Team America. Coming at you.
America. Yeah, this is a little obnoxious, but I'm liking it.
I'm liking it.
So we got a packed show today, and to kick that off, has become tradition now on Wednesdays, we have the one, the only Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show. They're at 106.5 FM in the Mobile area, and of course also the editor-in-chief at 1819 News. How are you this afternoon, Jeff?
I'm doing well, Joey. How are you?
I'm all right. I don't know if you can see the live stream, but we look ridiculous at the moment.
A little too cool for school.
Yeah, like sunglasses on. We're wearing hoodies that are in a very obnoxious American flag style pattern. Like the whole daggum thing is an American flag.
Yeah, on a hot November day.
I wish I could pull that off. I don't think I'm capable, though.
Well, we could try it. Next time you're in studio with us, we'll get you a hoodie. So what did you think about the Republicans last night and all these races, off-year election races?
Not mildly disappointing is how I would put it. Because there were certain expectations for Republicans going into last night, and I think they underperformed. At least the expectations for Virginia. Glenn Youngkin, just not really the all-star he's been made out to be. But they still underperformed there. Ohio went about as expected. Look, Bashir was expected to beat Cameron. Cameron was closing fast. He had the momentum in Kentucky, but he came up short. There was no sizzle there. And then Mississippi, Mississippi turned out not to be what Democrats thought it could be. Certainly a win for Republicans. But I look at Mississippi more as a big-picture phenomenon, not kind of like what the tea leaves say. Why is Mississippi even competitive right now? Like, what the heck is going on? Why Mississippi is supposed to be a reliably red state that you don't need to be sitting on the edge of your seat worried about pumping tons of resources into. There's something going on in Mississippi. So put that one aside. But the other three were disappointments for sure, and you would hope that Republicans could have picked one of those off as at least something to hang a hat on heading into the 24 cycle, but it wasn't meant to be.
Now, do you buy the argument, because I'm hearing it from a lot of different quarters, of the messaging on abortion by Republicans has just been miserable? Now, is it just messaging, or do people just really disagree with the sort of, say, a full ban like we have here in Alabama?
I think I think they got to own it. I think messaging is a part of it. Look, the country has shifted on abortion that I think most Americans are okay with some level of abortion. Now, what that is something that will have to be worked out. But, Republicans from the Roe decision until Dobbs was ruled ran on abortion. They ran on pro-life. They ran on preserving the life of the unborn. It was like a spiritual issue, a theological issue, one that a lot of Americans identified, and that's why they identified as Republicans. And Republicans have just totally abandoned that, I think, for the sake of political expediency, ran away from it because they're terrified of having to explain it or talk about it and what that might do to their political future in the long term. That's a problem. Democrats are owning this issue. Coming out of Dobbs, Planned Parenthood raised a boatload of money. They have gotten their messaging down. They have weaponized it, and they are winning the day on that. And Republicans are just standing there like, please don't pick on me, you big, bad, pro-abortion people.
Well, and then I think how many cycles is this in a row where Ronna McDaniel, she doesn't deserve all the blame, but she is the head of the RNC, and she just has a terrible track record. How does she continue to have a job heading up the GOP?
She's Trump's RNC chairwoman. I mean, that's essentially it. He, I guess for whatever reason, trusts her. She's been very loyal to him. That's why she's a horrible, as we are learning, tactician or whatever you want to call it. But that is why she continues to be the chairwoman of the party, despite bad results in 22 and 23.
Well, it's just a strange week in terms of reading the entrails, if you will, where you have the New York Times poll, this new CNN poll confirming a lot of what that first Times poll found, and yet you see these results last night. It seems like Trump, in that whole argument with the presidential election, is just on a completely different track. And I find maybe the folks trying to make too much out of these wins in these local states last night.
Yeah, I think they're spiking the football unnecessarily on the Democrat side. I mean, look, there's a lot for them to be pleased about. And there's a validation there for a lot of Democrats because Biden does continue to struggle. There's no way around that. They need to acknowledge that. What's kind of interesting to me, though, maybe these elections aren't like they used to be. Maybe they're not referendum on who's in the White House. Maybe people are kind of wising up, going out and voting, and not just voting against a Democrat because they're mad at a Democrat in another office, like that used to be the case in a lot of our politics.
Now, shifting to Alabama politics, so it has a bit of a national nexus. And again, folks are talking to Jeff Poor, editor-in-chief there at 1819 News, and I'm looking at 1819 News. Number one, Jim Ziegler's writing a lot of articles for you guys, and it's great. But I'm seeing one he wrote up on Katie Britt releases God Calls Us to Do Hard Things. It's a memoir. It's a book. Have you had a chance to even look at this book at all, and why do you think this is coming out at the time it is?
I've been a little busy lately. I don't know if you've heard, but no, I haven't had a chance to look at the book. I need to, and it's on my list of things to do. But anytime you see a book tour like this, I mean, it's clearly to create a more of a national name ID, a national awareness. And, whatever she's going to do with that, it remains to be seen. But it is to kind of get a message out there, say, hey, I'm here. I represent X, Y, and Z, and you should really listen to what I have to say. What she's going to do with that, I think that's open still. But I think she is trying to expand her brand through this book tour.
Well, I've gotten through 2 chapters just this morning, and there's this one moment after she wins SGA Senate for one of the university or colleges there at the university, that this guy comes up to her and says, you're so great. You're really good at this. You're really good at this. She's like, thank you. You're really good at this, but a big hairy butt coming around the corner. It's a shame this is as far as you'll go. Why? Because you're a woman. And I heard this, and of course she goes on to be SGA president and all the other things she's done. But it makes me tempted to, you're the editor there, to write like an op-ed with the headline, Katie Britt has reached her prime. There's no way, because she's a woman, that she could ever become president. And maybe that'll spur her on to the actual goal.
Isn't this what Kay Ivey once ran on? Remember the Lorleen Wallace? Well, this is as close as I'll ever get to the governor's desk or whatever. And then there she is. She's governing away Governor Ivey. So I don't know. It just seems like a played out sort of thing, but it kind of maybe it works for her in that setting.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. It's interesting just getting to know anybody who's reached the Senate. What's your life actually been like from when you're a little kid growing up? It's as far as these political books go, it's more of a straightforward memoir so far. But I've only just started.
I think she's got a very relatable story for those people in this state. I mean, think about it. Like, what mother and father wouldn't want their daughter to grow up and be like Katie Britt? And people like freak out whenever I say that. But it's true. Like, your daughter is married to the star football player, have kids, you've gone on to be a successful lawyer, a successful lobbyist, you've worked on the Hill, you ran the biggest chamber of commerce organization in the state. Oh, by the way, you ran, never having run for political office before, win a U.S. Senate seat. You're now a member of the most exclusive club in the world, or whatever. I mean, she is, whether people like her or not, she is a role model.
Well, there you go. And I'm actually going to have her on the show, I believe, Friday. So looking forward to that discussion. And I'm happy to play, I guess, the bad guy to be like, just run for president. No way you can pull it off. But speaking of the governor of the state, Kay Ivey, she is calling for unity we need to move the state forward. This is our opportunity, so let's not waste it. I hadn't seen the governor in the press that much lately, but I didn't know we had so much division.
Are we going to get like a tax increase or something?
Yes.
I mean, think about it. Let's be unified on growing the state of Alabama's public footprint or something. Yeah, you call for unity if you want. What are we rallying around?
Yeah, I'll share a quote. This is from a report at 1819 by Daniel Taylor. Folks, we are certainly living in interesting times, and it seems just about every facet of our lives, people are focusing on what makes us different instead of what brings us together. Isn't that right, Missy? And wow, I don't know. You're right. I think there's something coming around the corner here.
Maybe she's just trying to react to something in the news without actually reacting to it. I don't. Everything they do at the comm shop at the governor's mansion, the governor's office, is always a head scratcher to me.
Well, and before I let you go today, you had the opportunity to interview Dick Brubaker, who is now officially in this District 2 race. Part of this district is your neck of the woods. What did you think of this kind of first interview now that he is a candidate talking to the fella?
It's unique. It's different than our past discussions. Usually when I have Senator Brubaker on, we're very, very heavily focused on state of Alabama stuff, legislature, or politics. So today we had to really change directions and talk about federal politics, national politics, world affairs, etc. So listen, Senator Brubaker's a very, very good, very polished on state issues. Can he talk about these national things that Congress is confronted with in an effective way to win that Republican nomination, at least? So we'll see.
Yeah, and I look forward to talking to him and all the other candidates jumping into this race. Well, I appreciate your time. I hope you get a nap here soon, Jeff. And if folks want to find what you're thinking about writing about, how can they do so?
Twitter.com/Jeff_Poor. I have protected my tweets for the time being. I'm gonna take care of that. I just get tired of the hate tweets. So, coming soon, we will resume a normal operating procedure there.
Well, I appreciate your time. Like I said in your show, I appreciate working with you and the whole team there at 1819 News. And well, we'll see. As the Zen Master said, we'll see. I appreciate the time, Jeff.
Hey, you're very kind. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, that's Jeff Poor, editor-in-chief there at 1819 News. Also, the host of the Jeff Poor Show. Check out his radio show, folks. And, Eddie, you look good today.
So do you, Joe.
Thank you. But, I don't know. Was this your idea? Because we didn't plan this.
It was my idea to purchase them. We'll start and stop with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't get one for Sky?
His is on back order.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel much better now because nobody called me last night and told me what to wear.
You know what? From now on, you're coming in on the three-way, like it or
Okay.
not.
Okay, I can
Come up with a different term for
I
that.
thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
a
I'll
little.
work on that.
What do you think, Sky, about Kay Ivey calling for unity?
I think that's fantastic. Where's she been all this time?
Unity. She finally seen that Rick James skit with the Unity ring.
It's a good song, dude.
Yeah. Nah, it's pretty.
Unity.
I could see her listening to some Rick James.
Oh, definitely.
And then are you two? And actually,
Friday night, you know.
in all seriousness, I find the memoir that Senator Britt has put out interesting so far. I've only
Good.
gotten through 2 chapters, but it does. It focuses on her childhood and then in the college years, and I think the whole second chapter is about failure.
Oh.
Like all her failures and disappointments. I'm like, okay, I didn't know some of this stuff.
Well, that's good to put it out there.
And we'll hopefully be interviewing her because she's going on a book tour. I think it starts in Birmingham, but there's going to be one in Montgomery on Saturday.
Okay.
So look forward to that. But I can get y'all a copy, I think, or y'all can get yourselves a copy on Amazon.
Amazon.
Be an interesting read, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Let's go to Amazon.
I want to read about her college years.
I want to get it so when I do see her again, I can get her to autograph it, though.
Okay. Of course you do.
Of course I do.
And then there's plenty more to get to, especially previewing this GOP debate. I didn't even know. It's not a Fox product.
Oh, it's not?
NBC. They went with
So,
the
wait a minute,
RNC,
man. Right.
went with NBC. Really?
Don't they, have they ever heard of MSNBC? Have they ever heard of, okay. Hey. But maybe that's why we haven't heard of this, Joey.
Maybe.
You think NBC is really pushing it?
No.
Who's going to moderate?
Well, because Trump's not going to be there.
Right.
Who's going to moderate? I don't even know. Like,
Lester Holt.
I just have a feeling it's going to be more fake news.
Lester Holt.
Lester Holt with
Yeah.
NBC Nightly News.
Exactly.
No, probably Kristen Welker. Actually, of all the folks over there at NBC, I would think Kristen Welker would be the person for the job. Anyway,
reasonable.
Man, that's going to be a long night for somebody.
yeah, I just got a feeling it's going to be fake news. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing Nikki Haley surge. You're seeing Ron DeSantis. He still needs a little bit more of a boost.
Yeah. You think he used a booster seat?
No.
Kind of built into the bench, kind of like his boots, got the built-in high heels.
He doesn't have, those are just very stylish boots. There's no built-in heels.
Somebody asked him to try on a regular set of boots, Joey, and he wouldn't do it.
Because he doesn't want to play into all your childish games.
Or
all
maybe
your
he doesn't
bad
want
faith
to find
ploys.
out the public to find out he's 5'7" instead of 5'9".
But you see that Ramaswamy, his name is dropping. He's dropping in the polls.
I don't believe that for nothing.
Yeah, it's because, well, we
just don't.
don't speak for America.
No, we
like
don't.
whoever we like, America's like, no, we're not going with that.
Right.
And I'm like, well, this explains a lot, I guess.
I guess so. But I saw that too, and dude, he's got a clearer message than anybody else.
Right.
Anyone else. He has a very clear message.
And but if you have a nuanced message with kind of clear goalpost, you're probably going to lose. The American people want that glitz and glam. The American people want their red meat. Don't give me those vegan veggies, Vivek.
That's a very good point, because they were so amazed that Trump kept all his words all his promises that he made during his run. Everybody was amazed. So maybe that's it. They don't want this guy because he's speaking the truth, and they know, oh wow, he's actually probably going to do this. We don't want that.
So that's coming up
Glitz
tonight.
and glamour.
And also, did you see today that the interest on the national debt is
Trillion?
now over $1 trillion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting hard to service that debt. Just a
Nice.
little bit.
Yellowstone's for sale. I don't know if you know that. We got a good deal on it.
I mean, we're doing great
We
as
can
a
make a
nation.
tidy profit off Alaska, too.
Hey now.
The national debt right now at this pace grows by
Russia-
$5 billion every 24 hours.
Incredible.
How do we fix that, Joey? What's the instant fix?
In the Fed.
Yeah,
Right
Ding,
there.
ding, ding, ding,
Start
ding, ding.
right
That's
there.
my man right there.
That's all. That's
Man.
my number one issue.
I was going to go with like zero-based budgeting or in the dual
that's-
mandate,
in
but
the
Sky is
Fed.
going for the jugular.
No,
That's
cut
right.
it off right there, man.
That's the way to end it
That's the way-
today.
Yeah.
Wait,
Y'all
are you
want-
talking about like ending the Federal Reserve? When you said cut it off, I thought you became a Democrat all of a
No,
sudden.
I'm talking about investigate, audit, end it.
Audit and
And
end it.
prosecute.
That's all you got to do. Audit and end it.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and then we'll start the trial.
I would love the prosecution, but if they know we're going to prosecute, then they're just going to lie the whole time. I'd rather say, look, you come clean. We're ending this. You come clean now. We'll give you a little bit of amnesty. However,
Fine.
if you don't, we're building the gallows,
Yeah.
baby.
Careful.
Well, before we got to hit this break, Sky, tell us about the Alabama Gazette.
Of course, that's your hometown conservative voice newspaper, the Alabama Gazette. Over 24 years in business, always under the banner of God, family, and country. That's the Alabama Gazette. They also publish Tidbits, the fun paper. It's got games, trivia, crossword puzzles, all kinds of just chock full of quizzes, everything you can think of. You can find the Gazette and Tidbits at many, many fine business establishments throughout the area. Gazette's been serving Central Alabama proper, I would say, for over 24 years. It is an excellent value for your advertising dollar. Why not advertise with someone who has a ready-made audience of people who share your principles, your values, your beliefs, and the Alabama Gazette has the conviction to back it up in print as well. Give them a call, 356-6700. Advertising with the Gazette is surprisingly affordable and extremely effective. 356-6700. That's the Alabama Gazette, the People's Paper. 356-6700.
Appreciate that, Sky. Let's go to Sweet D real quick. Hey, Sweet D.
Hey, Joey. Hey, Sky and Eddie.
Hey, D. How are you doing?
There.
I have a request, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I'm begging you, please don't get Katie excited or frustrated because I cannot stand that cryy voice. I mean, I want to die every time I hear it. And it's almost becoming her regular speaking voice. She needs some training on stopping the cry voice. It's sickening.
Well, I've been listening to the audiobook, and she performs it, and I actually thought it's been pretty good. Maybe she's
pretty
got some
monotone in
training.
there,
Yeah.
or do we got some like when
She
she's talking about the
should perform
difficulties?
when she speaks and stop going for the emotion. It's not very good. You know, it's not something that makes people endearing to her. It makes people think she's a little crybaby who's a little snowflake who just cries all the time. Stop it. Put some bass in your voice, Katie. We are sick of it.
Put some boom.
And the
in
other
it.
thing
Oh,
is,
yeah.
I got Rick James' album, and he did dedicate Super Freak to Kay Ivey.
I knew it. I knew it.
She's super freaky. Yeah. All right.
Back of the cover, it says dedicated to Kay Ivey. Super
All
Freak.
right.
Nice.
This must have been back during her pageant days at Auburn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when she was smoking the cigarette, but
That's what I was wondering.
yeah.
Yeah, no wonder
He
Rick
thought
liked
she
her.
was black because she had the black face on, and he liked her.
Very tricky.
You know, I've been trying to be a gentleman and a scholar and work with all types in this world. Then you callers call up and make me laugh.
Well, I'm sorry. She shouldn't have put the black face on. He wouldn't have thought she was black, and he wouldn't have thought she was a super freak.
There you go.
It's her fault.
Super freaky.
Okay, well, I hope Katie put some bass in your voice, Katie. Get some bass, girl. Bass, bass, bass. We need that bass. All right, have a good day, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sweet D.
How
Bass
do
in
you
your
feel
face.
about a little more bass in the bottom?
I like it in the bottom.
Bass?
Yeah.
Nice.
What'd you say?
I like it in the bottom.
A little more bass in the bottom,
Bass in
like
the
a
bottom?
good dance
yeah,
track,
yeah,
or even a rock
bottom
track.
end, man.
Yeah.
I got it. Let's check it.
Hey, let's hit this break.
Shall we?
Coming up, we got Parker Snyder of 1819 News. Guy, I can't believe you left him out.
That means back order, man.
My
Blame the
feelings
mail
are hurt,
system.
man. I've had a rough week, and now this. Gee.
Well, on that disappointing note, we'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Good afternoon, Capital City and surrounding area. I'm DJ Fresh, broadcasting live for Blue Water Broadcasting's annual holiday food drive. This is our last week where you can come out to our different sponsored locations and drop off your non-perishable food items. The holidays are quickly approaching, and guess what, folks? We want to help those that are in need have a great holiday. And I don't know about y'all, Thanksgiving coming up, and I love to eat. So you can even bring in items like that for the Thanksgiving season. Non-perishable food items, such as canned goods, pasta, or any type of dry pantry that you can drop off right here to any of our convenient locations. I'm here at Ask Telemarketing at 5665 Carmichael Road until 12:30 noon. You can swing on by and drop off those items, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you help me fill up this Blue Barrel today. And once again, if you can't make it to this location today, guess what? Simply go to our website or Facebook, and all the information is right there. I'll see you soon. It's DJ Fresh broadcasting live for Blue Water Broadcasting.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan, call Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
The fall sale is on, and there's never been a better time to upgrade your floors. During Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, find deep discounts on Mohawk flooring for every room in your home, plus interest-free financing with approved credit. Get new floors before the holidays with huge discounts. Visit PrattvilleCarpet.com or call 285-8117 today.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house. And now on the phone, also from 1819 News, we have Parker Snyder. Hey, Parker, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Joey?
Doing all right. I want to begin where I kind of left off. A few things I did with Jeff Poor here. We've got some other articles we'll get to in a second, but what did you see and what do you think about this Kay Ivey call for unity right now? I don't understand. I thought we were already pretty united here in Alabama.
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I don't see any big, fights happening between. I mean, I guess we're mad about the congressional races, and the Democrats and the Republicans are running against each other in District 2, and all the chaos. But that's kind of old news, honestly. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, honestly. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's not very clear to me. This is why I'm asking. Like, I'm like, what is she talking about? I thought we were all good in the hood, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say things like that. Just look at us on camera, folks.
Right.
I can't pull that off. Another quick follow-up. Have you had the chance to listen to, it's on audiobook, or read any of Katie Britt's new book, God Calls Us to Do Hard Things?
I have a weird habit of actually buying these books, which I shouldn't. I mean, I even bought, What Happened by Hillary Clinton. Just, what is she going to say here? I thought that I read it until I realized I should have realized this earlier, but she had a ghostwriter. I'm like, I don't care what this ghostwriter has to say anymore. But for Katie, for Senator Britt, I mean, I haven't listened to it or read it yet. It seems, I mean, this is kind of just classic for what every politician, when they get elected, they write their first book. I think I'd be more interested in, the second one after she has been in the Senate for a while. But, yeah, I was listening to the show before I got on, and it sounds like she does a whole range of emotion in the recording. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. No, and she retold a story she had told us in the studio about that day with the tornado and about her daughter asking, where did Jesus go? It was a little toddler. She recounts that story at the beginning of the book. But as you get into I'm only about 2-3 chapters in, it is more straight up memoir than it is, let me lay out my policy priorities. And so far, I'm actually kind of enjoying it. It's always interesting to see the person behind the curtain somewhat.
Yeah, that does sound actually a little bit more interesting than, the Joe Biden's book from 2020 about what I need to do when I'm elected. So yeah, I might keep my habit up of buying all these politics books.
Yeah, when I first got into this, I remember what's the Obama one? Not Dreams from My Father, but Audacity of Hope.
Yeah.
I remember getting that one. I was only 17. I was dumb, young, and ill-tempered. And also, I bought Mike Huckabee's book.
Oh, now that's...
Me too.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't
Wait a week and go to the bargain bin. It'll be $1 over there.
It wasn't thick, but it was thick, if you know what I mean. All right? It was not the greatest book in the world. But moving on. I'm glad you texted this to me earlier today, Parker, because I saw this last week and was like, really? But the Government Efficiency Study Group that Kay Ivey, super freak, set up a few months back, they've now recommended that we need to create a new state agency for boards and commissions. So the Efficiency Group wants to create another institution of government.
Oh.
Well, that's what it does appear like at the beginning. But I mean, I will say we've talked about occupational licensing before on the show, and right now there's about probably around 100. I saw it, between old estimates, between 61 and 130 different entities in Alabama who are governing different occupations, and so all of them have their own staff. Some of them have one company that contracts out and kind of is organizing everything, but it does seem like there's a lot of duplicating efforts, and the reason I feel like I can say that is I used to work at ATI, and there's a great report out that they have, and go visit their website and find it, but it's called The Cost of Occupational Licensing. And anyway, in there we just kind of talk about how the crazy licensing fees for hair braiders in Huntsville. I went up and visited 5 Huntsville hair braiders, which these are people who came over from Africa and learned how to braid hair African style at home, and then they had to come over here and pay thousands and thousands of dollars for schooling and for fees at the cosmetology board. And the reason they have to have all these fees is to support all the staff that they have. And so I think the governor may actually be it might be right actually that she's trying to consolidate this, because it's just there's too many things going on and too many unaccountable organizations that have government power, but they're not actually in government.
Well, and that does make sense. If we've got over 100 of these things, you could consolidate it down, and actually, some of them I think just need to be done away with, is my point.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, hopefully we'll get there. But and another story, big here, especially in this area, is Dick Brubaker jumping into this new District 2 congressional race. And before we get into the details here, Parker, I kind of want to just share a quote straight up from former state senator Dick Brubaker. This is what he told 1819 News in an interview on Monday. Quote, "The Democrats have charted a horrible course for this country. Despite the connivance of the mainstream media to convince families that inflation is only about 9%, you look at a basic grocery basket of sugar, butter, potatoes, staples like that, it's more like 22%. They are killing working families. It's not just inflation. It's the way they've been handling policy top down." Now, that's just part of the quote, but I think he is right over the target. But what do you think of him hopping into this race?
I think, especially if you're interested in a competitive race in this district, I think this is a really good thing. He, was a state senator. He was part of that group in 2010 that came in and kind of made the state Senate pretty conservative, along with a few other people. I think Tripp Pittman and Phil Williams and Brian Taylor, a bunch of conservative guys who kind of, for the first time in a long time, made the legislature actually do conservative things. And so, whether or not a Republican can win in District 2 is going to be the big question. Brubaker is a little bit less inflammatory, I think, than the Trump kind of Republicans. So that could be a benefit in this district, and he's got his dealership that has advertising for him too. So his name he's not a no name. I think he's got a chance. Albritton is also running, but he doesn't live in District 1 as of yet. So I think it's probably a good thing to have strong candidates. And I think he seems like a candidate that could do pretty well.
Now, have you heard anything about this Montgomery lawyer Dobson, this lady?
I don't know about that person. Is she running in the Republican or the Democrat?
No, Republican. She was, I think, one of the first to announce. And a local attorney, but that's about as much as I know.
Well, if she can get the money, then she can get her name ID out there, but she's got some work to do, it sounds like.
Yeah, sure. I look forward to interviewing all of them. Open door, but we'll be starting that with District 2 with Dick Brubaker on Monday at noon, so look forward to that.
That's sweet.
Well, is there anything that just I've missed that might be on your mind there at the 1819 News Nexus? Like, or we are buttoned up here already?
We've covered the things that that are that we've talked about. Of course, the situation in Smith Station is pretty crazy, and it's just terrible that happened. That he took his life, and I intentionally didn't send you one of those because it's just so sad. I don't really like thinking about it, to be honest. But yeah, the last thing I would say is about the big government, overarching, the state board regulating kind of thing. There are just so many ways so I talked to like a locksmith and a lot of other people. Long story short, there are so many ways that the boards and associations are messing up just regular people who are trying to get jobs, that it probably is a good thing that this committee actually starts maybe consolidating this into one board or one group, overarching, even though it is a bureaucracy and kind of seems kind of scary.
No, and I've always kind of been a fan of Young Boozer, I think, chairing that up, and I take his recommendations seriously. And you're right, it's not always the sexiest issue, but I think it's a big one that could make things a lot better for working people in the state. So, well, I appreciate your time as always, Parker. If people out there listening or watching on the live stream want to follow you, what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Yeah, they can visit 1819news.com. We got all the news from across the state and your local community.
Well, appreciate your time. Talk again soon, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
Again, that's Parker Snyder there of 1819 News. Now, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. They're, well, the premier roofing contractor here in the area. And, well, you know, owning a home is one of your most expensive and long-term investments.
Yep.
So what's one of the biggest parts of your home? Of course, there's the foundation. Right?
Sure.
And then there's, like, the skeleton of it.
Sure, you got your framing, but you also, one of the most important things is keep the rain out.
Oh, the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than looking up and seeing the night sky and you're in your bedroom.
Now, would you recommend somebody just lets that roof endure whatever the elements, storms rolling through until it, you know, falls apart, or would you recommend preventative?
Definitely preventative maintenance, but with a company like River Region, definitely, because they will come out, inspect it, Joey, climb on your roof for free.
Really?
They will give you a true inspection, roof inspection. They will climb on your roof for free.
And that's an asphalt or metal roof?
Either or. And my roof's 12 on 12, metal roof. It's very steep.
Oh, yeah.
They got up there like it wasn't nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked up there at that. I was like, I don't know if I want to be. I don't know if I want to be up there.
They got up there like it wasn't nothing.
And so the inspection's free. What about an estimate?
That's another great thing. The estimate is free, but not only that, everyone they've ever done for me and my clients, that estimate, the original estimate, has been right on the money at the end of the job, which is rare nowadays. Now, I'm not saying that every time it's going to be that way. Occasionally things will come up. But every time I've used them, the number they gave me on that estimate was the number I cut the check for at the end of the day.
Wow.
And that's rare, man. I'm telling you, in my business, that is rare.
And I also hear at River Region Contracting, their insurance specialist.
Very much so. Again, I've had plenty of experience where sellers, we go to look at their roof. The roof's got a little damage on it. They're like, well, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I said, look what, I've got a guy that'll walk you through that process.
Well, and a big mistake people make is they put in a claim too early before they know the full extent of the damage.
That happens all the time, and the insurance company's all too happy to come out there and cut you a check because they know, hey, this little bit that we covered, that's all we're going to have to cover.
And also, this is why you need preventative maintenance. Because if you, for a fact, and the insurance company will push this, they'll try to find this out.
Oh, yeah. If you
let something fester, true negligence, they're not going to cover
it. They will not, absolutely will not cover it.
So if you need to, as soon as you find something.
Yeah. And that's in most people's insurance policy.
And that's why you got to work with River Region Contracting. There's a reason they're referred to as the premier roofing contractor here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. You can always call Todd Clark and his team at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. There are a lot of folks that seem to like our...
I see that.
Our hoodies. Patrick says, love the hoodies today. Thanks, man. What does Eric have to say? Now they need a Busch Light cowboy hat and a nice Pinot Noir Boston Scally cap. That sounds a little like...
I think he's making fun of your hat of choice.
What are you talking about? I'm not wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Where can I get one of those banging hoodies? Yeah, where can they?
Well, we'll have to open up a merchandise store and maybe we can sell them on
we
there.
might have to.
Yeah.
And then Patrick asks, will you watch the GOP debate tonight, Joey? Yeah, probably.
You are going to watch it?
Yeah.
Power through, brother. Power through.
Yeah, but it's kind of miserable.
Well, I think the first 20 minutes are going to be pretty good because they're going to be jibbing and jabbing. But that's about where the train runs off the tracks.
Right. Right.
When that moderator's like, let me get control. You have no control.
You have no control.
Unless they have a dog collar on them, they're going to keep talking.
Yeah. Well, and also I'm not looking forward to, like, Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy, who I recently watched in another long-form conversation.
Yeah.
Just get yelled at.
Well, I was going to say, who is the dog that's going to get attacked?
Now, he has been pretty forceful about Nikki Haley, saying she's one of the most corrupt people. She's making money off of sending your sons and daughters to war. Ooh. She was in debt when she left the UN.
That's what I had heard.
And now she's taking stock options from sitting on a corporate board called Boeing as she's running for president. And you know what? I think that's a damn good point, aside from Nikki Haley. How much crossover was there with the enrichment of the Biden family in this current war going on in Ukraine?
Ooh, I got a list somebody sent me. I'll send it to you. Some kickbacks.
It's one thing to make a stupid decision to go into war, but if you're benefiting from the bad decision for the nation,
I agree.
Don't want any of that. I don't know if any of this will stick. Maybe Ron DeSantis will rise to the occasion. I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, at the end of the day.
What, are they going to give him like 3 helium balloons and let him float
Well,
on
it is
up?
in Miami, so it's his home turf. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Trump.
Yeah.
I don't care what Nikki Haley says. I don't care what Ramaswamy says or even Ronnie D.
It might be Trump from a jail cell, but it's going to be Trump.
Now, that's a pretty badass campaign.
Hey.
Like somebody smuggling in like little videos or like phone calls. You know, I would always prefer to call Sean Hannity's show or all these shows. Hey,
have some burner phones.
I'm locked up. No, I've got 5 minutes. I put in the change, and like it's being recorded by the authority. Oh, this is gonna be a crazy year. But God bless America. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load. And they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look. And they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The holiday season is quickly approaching, and what better way to spread joy than by giving back to those in need? We're calling on all of you, our generous listeners, to make this holiday season extra special for those who might be struggling. Join us for our annual holiday food drive benefiting the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. It's simple. Just gather those non-perishable food items like canned goods, pasta, rice from your pantry, and drop them off at any of our convenient sponsor locations across the river region. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can feed families in need this holiday season. Bring your donations to GFL Environmental in Montgomery. GFL Environmental. Local people making a local difference for a greener tomorrow. Donate what you can. It's our annual holiday food drive from Blue Water Broadcasting and GFL Environmental.
To find out how you can help, go to newstalk931.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
This extended string of warmer than normal temperatures continues, and soon showers will be back in the forecast, but not right away. Today, dry with lots of sunshine and warm temperatures, high around 83. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, still dry, mostly sunny, high in the low to mid-80s. Then scattered random showers popping up in the forecast on Friday with a high in the mid-70s. In fact, we'll keep in at least a small chance of showers in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday with highs in the mid to upper 60s over the Veterans Day weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Folks, I've been told we have to go really fast, so let's go really fast because we only got 3 minutes at the top of the hour. We've got a city councilman-elect.
Oh, that's right.
Szymanski joining us here in a second.
Dragon Boat guy.
Let's go to Papa B very quickly. Hey, Papa B.
Hey,
how
Papa
you
B.
doing?
Hey, very quickly. Thanks, man. All right, well, I just was opining about what the Republicans did not do in last night's election.
Oh.
And now this is the third election cycle that Republicans should have just kicked butt.
Right.
And they had not. And why? I don't think they want to.
You think it's
I
like
think that they're.
You think it's like Obamacare, where they had the opportunity to overturn it, but they just didn't?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that there's just a whole lot of folks. Ronna McDaniel, she needs to be run out of town on the rail. Now,
Not a winner.
More than ever.
She's not producing.
But, well, you can't, if you can't win under these circumstances, now your third, strike one, strike two, strike three, dude, you are out.
Right.
I mean, it kind of sounds like the GOP to me, though. Like, losing, even when they win.
No doubt. It's
I'm
almost
just
like
saying.
they're trying to, you know. Well, in the meantime, the Democrats have found a few chinks in the armor of our system. One of them is that they'll break the law and worry about the consequences later because our justice system is so blame slow that they know they can just wait. They just wait it out, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just, there's a few frustrating things. We're not in control of our own party yet. I think we will be before it's all over with. But, Bud, this is heinous, what happened last night.
Yeah.
And the fault of it lies right at Mitch McConnell's door.
Yeah, I think it's the more establishment types, especially of an older generation, really don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Or they're losing on purpose, to your point.
On purpose. That's what they're doing, Joey. They're losing on purpose.
Throwing the game on purpose. Before you go, real quick, you just said chinks in the armor, which I think is the right term, right? You're seeing chinks in the armor.
Yeah,
I've noticed that when Vivek Ramaswamy lately has been talking about the armor between China and Russia, that partnership, he keeps saying, I see kinks in the armor. I'm thinking that guy doesn't want to be on tape saying chinks.
Ooh, good point.
Well, that's the reason they call him vegetable design.
See, I think that guy actually wants to win and bring about bold change, but the American people don't like him. Right? I actually think what's going on is the folks who like him like Trump. So it's kind of like they're going to go with Trump.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you, Papa B. Great call, man.
272-9228 is our guest here?
Yeah.
All right. Did you warn him about the outfits?
I think he just took it all in.
That's unfortunate.
We didn't have our glasses on, though.
Hey, before the break, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Oh, man, you talk about good people, Joey.
Oh, great people there. Ashley has put together a fantastic team. They can help you with any sort of pest control problem you might have, especially emergencies.
Yep.
Like wasp constantly in the house. I always bring this up because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's awful.
They chase you out of the room there, Joey?
No, it's just like you're relaxed on the couch and all of a sudden you just see a massive wasp in your living room. You're like, okay, there goes the cortisol levels up. Let me go. Like my usual move is I go grab a small towel or whatever,
do the pop
spin
deal?
it, pop it,
Me too.
stomp
Do
on
it
it.
from afar.
But I don't want to have to do that ever again.
Make the call, Joey.
Pest Pro Services, 265-9990. Of course, they can also help you with termite treatment, in particular termite preventative treatment.
That's what you really want.
What you need to do. Or it could be something like a fire ant network. Maybe you've got a lot of land, several acres. Those fire ant networks can become heinous.
Yeah, they can. They go for miles.
Right. Or maybe you just want a company you can trust, great local people who give back to the community that will have your back when it comes to protecting your home. They can be your everyday pest control company and get you on a quarterly schedule. Just call Ashley and her team at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that, well, Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. Coming up after the break, we will have Andrew Szymanski.
That's right.
A city councilman-elect. And he actually has some ideas. I think he's going to release this before too long, but ideas on homelessness and how to work with that.
Oh, really? Good
In
deal.
the city, so y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The next Republican presidential primary debate at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight from Miami. It can be seen on NBC or heard on the Salem Radio Network. The group of 7 wealthy nations announcing a unified stance on the Israel-Hamas war. That's after intensive meetings in Tokyo, condemning Hamas and supporting Israel's right to self-defense. But the group also called for the unimpeded delivery of food, water, medicine, and fuel, and for pauses in the fighting. The Culinary Workers Union in Las Vegas reaching a tentative deal with casino giant Caesars Entertainment. It could help avert a sweeping strike. Stocks are lower as Wall Street continues to recalibrate following its sharp recent swings. The Dow is down 88 points, the Nasdaq losing a dozen. This is SRN News.
It seems like every day economic news gets more and more sketchy. We're already seeing huge volatility in the stock market and a rapid erosion in the value of the U.S. dollar. But this time, an economic downturn could happen faster than you ever imagined. Direct Bullion USA wants to let you know that now is the time to take actions that may help protect and secure your portfolio with physical precious metals. Call Direct Bullion USA at 888-787-GOLD and get your free gold investor kit today. Call Direct Bullion USA now at 888-787-4653. With all of the uncertainty of a world gone mad, you can take control of your financial future with one call to Direct Bullion USA. Most importantly, Direct Bullion USA is a faith-based company that understands your family's financial goals. And we're here to help you preserve your wealth and faith. Call us now at 888-787-4653. That's 888-787-GOLD.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by JB Windows and Siding. Call Jones Brothers. You'll be glad you did.
JB Windows and Siding has what you're looking for. Rich Thomas Weather.
This extended string of warmer than normal temperatures continues, and soon showers will be back in the forecast, but not right away. Today, dry with lots of sunshine and warm temperatures, high around 83. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, still dry, mostly sunny, high in the low to mid-80s. Then scattered random showers popping up in the forecast on Friday with a high in the mid-70s. In fact, we'll keep in at least a small chance of showers in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday, with highs in the mid to upper 60s over the Veterans Day weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Reports of heavy smoke in East Montgomery Tuesday were coming from a controlled burn that was temporarily out of control. The fire, located off Highway 231 between Taylor Road and Sweet Creek Farm Market, was extinguished last night with no injuries or structures damaged. Henry County deputies shot and killed a man who officers had chased for nearly 50 miles on Tuesday. The pursuit began near Eufaula at speeds in excess of 120 miles per hour until the suspect crashed in the median of Highway 431 in Headland. The suspect was shot while attempting to flee the scene. Last night, the Montgomery City Council passed a resolution to designate November 5th through 11th as Veterans Appreciation Week in Montgomery. In commemorating the event, the city will host the annual Montgomery Veterans Day celebration on Saturday, November 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
Join us tomorrow from 1 to 2 at Physical Therapy and Balance Centers of Prattville for our annual holiday food drive. Drop off your non-perishable food donations to help feed families in need this holiday season.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house, as is now, as promised, Councilman-elect Andrew Szymanski's across the desk from me. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. One more week before we can take the elect away, so getting excited about that.
Are you ready?
I think so. You know, I've been spending as much time. I've been meeting with a lot of people, trying to get caught up on some of the rules and responsibilities, but also just, you know, it's been a really great period of people coming out, introducing themselves, telling me about the good stuff they're doing, areas of struggle, projects that they're interested, and 101 different streets that need to be improved. So it's all good.
Okay. Now, what is like the first thing, though, because you're getting a lot of people in your ear, but what is the first thing you think you're going to hit the ground running with?
I think there's a couple of things that we definitely want to focus on right now. You know, one of the calls I get a lot about is homelessness and some of the issues that we have here in the city surrounding people that are unhoused, and kind of the differences. You know, I think that we talk about it in a way where it's the visible things we see, whether it's people on the side of the interstate or on some of our off ramps in our downtown areas. But that's not the totality of the problem. And every individual is facing different challenges that may present them, put them in those positions. So we've got to come up with a good, comprehensive way of dealing with that. And I really want to figure out a way to work with the mayor and with the city council on how we can do a better job addressing that. My district in District 7 has the crisis center, the warming center for the city. And I met with Christy Thornton and her team with the EMA. They are phenomenal people. She is amazing. And what they're doing at the old Floyd Middle School there is great, and it needs to be supported. It needs to be enhanced. We could do a lot over there. And that's just one piece of that pie. That's just kind of really only the crisis side. We're hearing that Friendship Mission needs the community support and broadening and being able to reach more people, because we don't have a Salvation Army right now, and we need to. I don't know what the status of that is. It's one of the first questions I want to get read in on, is where our progress is in that, because we need to get those beds back, and it's about to be the winter time. And so from a compassionate and humanitarian side too, I understand that there are frustrations about seeing people and some of the dangers that may present, but also like these are other humans, and so we have to make sure that as the weather gets cold that we're thinking about them as well.
Well, and I almost wonder, there are some folks who make that choice, but most of the time you're thinking about a person who either has mental health issues or crosses over with drug abuse issues. And it's how do we have the facilities for folks like that?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's really, really tough. And I think it's a really relevant time. You know, obviously the city council and the mayor just declared this more kind of Veterans Memorial Week, and it's a really important thing, and it reminds people that fought for our country are some of the people that we're talking about. So these are not just vagrant, drug using, whatever's, that there are some people that literally like wore our nation's colors and now are in this position. So we have to think about that mental health side and figure out what facilities those people can go to. The nice thing about the crisis center is that Christy takes you in to make sure that you have a warm place to sleep at night. Doesn't matter what your state of mind you're in. Some of the other facilities have, requirements for sobriety, and of course, obviously, we have mental health facilities here. Actually, one right down the road from where your studio is. But I think we can broaden that. And one way I think we can broaden that, one of the conversations I really want to look at is, I think we may be coming to a point where the city needs to invest in its own homeless shelter. In lots of other cities, it's kind of a last resort. If you're a nonprofit organization dealing with these issues, it is tough to, on top of that, take in people that are either actively intoxicated or using drugs versus families and children and stuff that really need a safe place to stay. And so we may have to look at, and I want to look at, whether or not it is time for Montgomery to invest in its own homeless shelter.
Well, and I can't say too much because of, privacy concerns, but I've seen firsthand a person who's, let's say, addicted to the worst, say something like heroin.
Sure.
And they realize they have a moment of clarity, like, I need to get help. And they go and look, and they're like, the VA or elsewhere we don't have beds. And you just got to wonder about that person who has that moment of clarity. How long is that clarity going to last?
Right. Yeah.
And they go back to using, and then that can add up with folks on the corners and folks on the streets. And it's just, I don't want to see this snowball into an even bigger problem when I think it's actually something we can get our arms around here.
Yeah, and I think in Montgomery, we can look at the other cities that are around us of our size. We're a pretty unique city. We do get people that come in because of where we sit on 65 and 85, but and we're a warmer state most of the year, so it makes it more attractive. But I think broadly, and this is just my own personal hypothesis, so don't quote me on numbers, but it feels like when I go to other places, there are actually cities that are struggling with this much worse, that have much higher populations. Some of the drugs that are on the streets there that really haven't taken as large of a foothold as I'm seeing here. So to learn from those very quickly, and as I said, one of the things that I'm seeing some cities that are successfully doing is using city-funded, city-operated facilities to bring people in and then kind of work with them on providing them with access to different programs. Now, I don't know today how we're going to pay for that and how we're going to staff that. I'm just letting your listeners know that it's definitely at the forefront of my thinking and something I want to dive into once I get there.
No, I just got a text, and I think this is true in some part, but the text is simply, the people on Carmichael don't want help. And I imagine there are some of these folks out there asking for money, especially, say, right off the interstate exits. I almost wonder, I don't know if you know the movie Let It Ride, but you do the calculations, how much a day you making? is there a legal option? How do you deal with somebody who's like, no, I'm just going to stay here and go away?
Sure. So there's a couple of things, and I've heard that point too, and that's why I think it's really important for us not to paint a broad brush about every single person that's out there, because we don't really know why they don't want that help, and I think we need to at least make an attempt to try and determine that. Now, whether it be loitering issues that can support us, one thing that I've been told, and I want to understand more about is the actual jurisdiction of the property that is the off ramps. I've been told, and I'm not 100% sure on this, that that's kind of in the ALDOT potential gray area. Is it city property? Is it ALDOT property? Does the state really have the easement and space over that? Is it their problem? Because obviously you can't loiter in front of a business, and I don't really know why you should be able to loiter on an off-ramp either in a public space like that.
Most of your interstates will have you a sign on there. You can't walk on the interstate because it's dangerous.
Exactly.
Off-ramps are more dangerous than the interstate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that either. But do we keep a count on how many homeless we have in Montgomery?
So we have
someone that records that.
Yeah, we have a task force, and there is the Mid-Alabama Coalition for the Homeless, and I'm really excited about getting to work with all these people that are in this sphere. And that would be the way to learn to answer the question about people that don't want to leave, is that what do we do next, right? What is the thing that we do next? Because there are certain challenges that we have in addressing the issue, and I think that we just need to follow the rules. If there are ordinances, if there are laws that say you can't loiter in a spot, then we just have to do the hard thing and enforce those laws and rules.
But I thought we did pass the whole, no pandering deal, and
well, and then you get into
Nothing
the free
changed.
speech issues, and there's a lot of nuance to the situation, and what I want to focus on right off the bat is making sure that anybody that needs a bed can get a bed, and then figure out from there how we tackle some of the tougher questions in the problem.
No, and also my mind goes to we need to ask the chief of police back in here, because I'm wondering what force levels are right now, and you're dealing with enough with other issues. Like, do you have a car that could go out there if you actually have an issue that rises to the level of the police?
Yeah, and figuring out, kind of from a public safety standpoint is to your point about, those laws that are on the books, is how we kind of enforce that. And I saw in the video chat, Eric said incentivize private companies to help the homeless as well. Yeah, I mean, and we need our private businesses and citizens, our faith-based organizations, the organizations that are dealing with these problems, they need your help too. Like, I mean, I know we
have a lot of churches that do that, but a lot of people don't know how. If it's a local church, and say I live in Elmore County, well, it's a lot of local churches in Montgomery helping out. I have no idea how to reach out to them.
Yeah, and I just call the folks of the different organizations, whether it be Friendship Mission, and just ask them what they need. Also appreciated Eric the Go Dogs. I was in Athens this past weekend. So,
were you? You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. Went back to the old stomping grounds. So, yeah.
Eddie's and I's response to that is War Eagle.
War Eagle, baby.
We're hoping the Iron Bowl's good at this point. My God. Though, the one good game we had was against y'all.
I know. One of the scariest games we've had.
We looked good for a few minutes there, buddy.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you what, they scared me a good bit on Saturday.
Yes.
It took a little bit while for us to get going, but it was fun.
I don't understand that either, because you guys were taking it right on the chin. I'm like, what is going on? But in a Georgia fashion, you guys come back.
Yeah.
You guys have every time all year.
Now, and I just thought of this because I was out 3 days last week. I went to visit my brand new niece in Greenville, South Carolina. My brother's brand new daughter. She's only a month old. I mean, she eats, she sleeps, that's about it. But she's adorable too.
Of course.
And where they live in Greenville, a beautiful town, really active. They've done a lot of brilliant stuff. Actually, I don't mean this completely as a put down, but I'm kind of walking through the middle of Greenville over the suspension bridge with the new Bohemian Hotel and these waterfalls, and I go, damn, Montgomery's ugly. And I don't mean like it doesn't have to, we could change that.
Sure.
But I was like, daggum, they're doing it right. But right outside of my brother's place, fairly nice neighborhood, there's a pretty busy intersection that has a four-way stop, and every day I was there, and they said it's been going on about a month. There's the same woman who will not just like sit there with a sign, she'll like start yelling, hey, yelling at whoever is at the stopping. She's right outside of all these homes with all these young new families. And I'm not even the father, and I immediately start feeling tense. I didn't think she was dangerous, but It's a problem everywhere, is my point.
Yeah, going back, we talked about this during campaign times, is that, I don't think that Montgomery just faces problems that no other city faces. And so we have to look at some best practices for how to deal with that and address them as best we can. And I've been traveling around, and I've been in Nashville, and I was just in Atlanta, which Atlanta has some areas where that's really tough. I was in Athens, Georgia on game day. And as tough as it is, because I know we have a lot of compassionate people in our city, one of the reasons that people stay in those places is because it pays off.
Right.
And as tough as it may be to your heartstrings, compassionate for your fellow man, all of that type of stuff, we have organizations that are here set up to work with people that are in that situation. And handing out meals and money outside of the Boulevard intersection of the Sam's Club unfortunately creates a pattern, and that pattern is just reinforced every time that happens. And as tough as it is, I understand and I appreciate people that just want to do good by others, but people choose those locations for a reason.
Right.
So just got to keep that in mind.
Again, we're talking to Councilman-elect. He'll be sworn in November the 14th, I believe.
Next week,
man.
Andrew Szymanski, District 7, took the spot of, I guess, Clay McGinnis.
Correct.
And I look forward to seeing you in action, kind sir. But we got to hit another break. But 272-9228, if you want to get in and have a comment or question for Andrew. For the break, this part of the program brought to you by XI Repair. And Jonathan Strange and his team there at XI Repair do fantastic work, especially on those smartphones of yours. Like Eddie over here, constantly in a hurry. He's always closing.
Always closing,
and he
always
keeps dropping his
phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And it happens. It happens a lot to realtors. It happens a lot to people in action. But the nice thing is, for years, I didn't know what to do but deal with a cracked screen. I didn't want to send my phone off. But when you've got a company like XI Repair right down the street, give them 30, 45 minutes. They'll fix your screen. Anything else you got with your phone problem? Call them.
What if my battery's not holding a charge?
That's where I need to be, and you know what? They got to fix for me. Again, 35, 45 minutes.
What if I drop my phone in the toilet?
Well, Joey, they're going to know that it went in the toilet.
Right.
Be honest.
Do I have to tell them?
You don't have to tell them, but they're going to know.
Right.
But you know what? They'll still get you fixed up. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes.
What if I got a dirty port?
That's really good, because you probably realize that your phone's not charging.
Right.
So you can't figure out why. You're thinking, oh, my phone is dead. No, they can go in there, clean that port up, get you connected.
Now, what if it's not a smartphone? What if I've got like a really fancy gaming console, like a PS5?
Well, and you don't trust the mail
No.
to mail it to them? Well, I would personally take it over there to him like a lot of other people do. In fact, you can go to his YouTube site and you can see on Jonathan's page there some of the repairs that he makes on these things.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Desktop computers, laptop computers,
You bet,
smartphones, even top-end gaming consoles. They can even do data recovery. So if that soon-to-be ex-husband of yours, that pig, lying pig, if he tried to delete certain things, have your attorney contact XI Repair. They do it all the time, actually. They can recover that data.
Yeah, buddy.
Or it could just be a project you accidentally deleted. They could help you out. So you can always go to xirepair.com, the letter X, the letter I, repair.com, or give them a call at 777-1234. That's 777-1234. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. More with Councilman Andrew Szymanski when we come back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your fall market report on real estate in the River Region. From January through September of 2023, close to 3,600 homes have sold and closed in our area through area realtors. Our average sales price is approximately $250,000, which makes us one of the most affordable areas in the state to buy a house. So far this year, sellers that listed with an area realtor were blessed with a sales price that was 98% of the listed price or possibly above listed price. Because we have had a severe shortage of houses on the market, the buyers have had to look a little longer to find a home that satisfied their needs. Even with higher rates, local mortgage lenders have found ways for buyers to buy down rates on their mortgages and making the transition from tenants to home ownership possible. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. News and views in the afternoon. 272-9228. We are working on things behind the scenes, trying to figure out what is the source of our buzz. And plus, my music's not any good anyway.
That's pretty good.
It's all right.
Pretty good.
No, that was not me fishing for a compliment. Just brutal truth.
Oh, you
just
want some
amateurish.
truth?
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. Yeah, that's sweet.
Thanks for not bringing the guitar today.
Yeah, you look good today.
You do too, buddy.
Yeah,
you do too.
We need to start getting these for our guests, whatever our uniform is for the day.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
You know what Friday is?
I felt a little left out.
Friday is Toga Day, so make sure everybody's ready.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be sure to tell Senator Brett.
Right.
So, one thing that broke last night was this, city council meeting. You got the council actually overriding a veto of the mayor.
Correct.
And now, for folks who don't know, is this over the flag issue? Like, what sort of flags and symbols can be put on city property?
Yeah. So broadly, it's broader than that. It's really about things will have to run through council for approval before the city can just post or fly flags, or not just flags, but extends to those, I don't know what you call them, those banners that hang on the side of light posts and stuff like that it all be neutral. So I understand. I've been told what the intention was behind it, and making sure that the city has a mechanism that prevents certain types of displays to be flown. I also know, in my opinion, that we elect a chief executive for the city and a mayor, and that the mayor wants to, support things, fly flags, or, honor people, whatever, that within reason, the city council's job is just to allow that to happen. And then if there's an issue brought up by the constituency, then to address it in council. I don't know. I wasn't privy to all the conversations around it. I don't know if I would have supported the override. I think I would have just said I would have let the veto be sustained. I probably wouldn't have voted on the ordinance in the first place. And really because now we're getting into this question about things like Christmas. Like now you have to get city council permission for Christmas. Like we've talked about this before. I don't like overcomplicating government like this. We don't need to be passing every single ordinance to tell us how to do all these kind of smaller things. Yes, maybe there are some issues and that need to be raised, and we address them when those are raised. But I don't know. It would not have been. I would not have been a supporter of the ordinance. So.
Well, and it sounds like though that this was, in a way, the neutrality ordinance is actually one adopted by Boston, and out of Boston came a Supreme Court case about if you fly one, you got to fly anything people present to you. And so this was sort of like that, let's short circuit that to where we don't even have to go to court. Because let's just be honest, this started, I think, with Pride Month and Pride flags out there. There are a lot of devout Christians who said, okay, you're going to do that. Here, fly the Christian heritage flag. That, I think, never went through. But instead of doing that, they did this ordinance. The mayor then vetoed. Then last night, the veto was overridden, 5-3, I believe.
I think so, yeah. And I know Councilor McInnes was not there for which was his last meeting with the council. But yeah, I mean, and again, I think that if there are individual issues that are brought up, that we address those individual issues and we vote on those as a council. I just think it's going to now add a layer of extra steps that need to be done just to do the simple things, right? So if we want to put up, apparently, do Christmas stuff, we have to pass that through council or other events, veterans events, whether it be Easter or whether it be Thanksgiving or whether it be, Pride Month or 4th of July, any of these things. And so as I said, I think that when you elect your executor for your city, your chief person, that they get some leeway into establishing things that they support. It's not going to be popular across the board. We know that. Yeah. But that's the process of having elections. And so the idea is that if you don't like those types of things and somebody goes up there and says, I'm going to commit to not ever flying flags of this kind, and you think that's a good idea, then you vote for that person. But we'll see what it brings to the table. Maybe it's not going to overcomplicate as much as I think it will, but if we are constantly taking city council agenda items where we're having to address individual approvals of things, then I think that's when we'll realize maybe the intention and the thought had some merit to it, but the process by which this was agreed upon was not great.
In a world where everybody feels like they need to have representation, if there is a certain class of people, a certain set of people, in this case it was happening, where they were getting represented, and Christians stepped up and said, hey, what about my representation? And we were shut down. I can't agree that the mayor or any one person can make that decision.
Sure, and that's kind of the point behind the ordinance was to say that we're just going to take that discussion off the table. But then, as I said, it does extend a little bit further into some things that are just kind of commonplace.
Oh, sure, I agree.
The question comes up again.
Yeah, and so we'll see. As I said, I don't really understand how the mechanism is exactly going to work and what is chosen. There are things that, here's a great example. We need to have an active public art commission, not just because public art's a good thing for the morale of a city, but also because it establishes rules for things that we have as public displays, whether that be public artwork, statues, whether it be murals and such. If we have temporary displays of things like art and there is a body that is overseeing when they are set up, when they are taken down, what the approvals and what they look like, if that is actively happening, then you have that other mechanism that comes in there. Now, I don't know what the status of the Public Art Commission is yet. I hope that we can get it rebooted if it is not active. But, having something like public displays of whatever it is, it could be to fly the colors of a high school that's won a state football championship through the downtown quarter. I don't know. We'll see how complicated this makes things going forward. But I think in theory, my bigger fear would have been, again, passing ordinances to micromanage City Hall. Not a big fan.
But we don't have a city manager either, right? So we have a mayor that's also a city manager.
Yeah,
so again, from me, and I'm not a Montgomeryan, used to be. But
you own property.
I own a lot of property here. Right. But when in this particular case, and I'll be very honest, I'm a little bit biased on it. Everything was fine until they said, no, you can't fly your flag. And they were like, wait a minute. In a world where everybody deserves representation, now I don't deserve representation? So something has to be said. Something has to be done, or else the railroad just continues to get built over the top of you.
Sure. And that ordinance, but again, though, that was just another ordinance. The idea of Christian Heritage Month was brought up to the council, which included flying the flag, as I understand. And that didn't pass at council. And so, that was another ordinance issue, and in that case, then yes, your direct pipeline is the city councilor that voted against implementing that. And I know there was some confusion about which was being done. That is why individual situations like that, you vote on them, and then if you're unhappy with the outcome of it, don't forget that the next time you go to the polls, or as we like to talk about, make sure you go to the polls.
That's the big thing. Make sure you go.
Now, shifting gears here, and I kind of want to go back to my trip, because it was like, okay, do the trek through Atlanta. I don't want to live there. Oh, man, the traffic. There are beautiful parts inside Atlanta, but it's a nightmare, that whole metropolitan area of the traffic. But once you get to Greenville, South Carolina, it's actually a comparable size city to ours. Sure. It's really booming. They made a lot of great decisions in the early aughts, the early 2000s, and it's really come to full bloom. I then took a day trip up to where my aunt and uncle live in Charlotte, so I got to see a big city that, by any assessment, is alive and growing.
Yes.
Pretty remarkable to see. My aunt and uncle have done well in life. They're on some 21st story loft high rise and worked all their life to get it. But they said since that, they first bought that place, the entire skyline has been built up. These 100-foot, Deloitte, Bank of America. And you walk through downtown, and it's just truly remarkable. Now, I don't think Montgomery wants to be that or will ever be what Charlotte, North Carolina is doing. But when I look at Greenville, I see so many aspects of the development in terms of people to live, young families to grow up there, a lot of entertainment things to do, and just what I want to focus on is the beauty of it.
Sure.
Where in Montgomery do you think we could have the biggest bang for our buck? And here's where I'm coming from. Like the last time I went down to sort of the Biscuit Stadium, walking that whole area near the Legacy Museum, some of the new stuff looks great, but it still seems very sparse.
Yep.
So where do we go with Montgomery to where when somebody walks in, it's actually got this character in terms of the architecture, in terms of the, it's a beautiful part of the world we have here. How do we make it better?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of projects that we should keep an eye on and some other ones that we should be investing in. Number one is there's some development you're seeing happening from the downtown area towards the interstate, the I-85 part of downtown, where we see, I think it's going to be an apartment complex called The Bank, BANC, that's getting developed. I know that there is the group that is behind Ravello and the Vintage Hospitality Properties. They are doing work on the old Grove Court apartments. So to seeing some activity and stuff happening there. One thing this city needs to do, and if it's already doing it, again, folks, I'm going to find a lot of, I'm probably going to make some missteps. I apologize. Come back. You get once a month. You can come on here and rip me for anything I said wrong the month before. But we need to have a real land bank and a property bank here. We need to know 100%. And promote to the world what properties we have in our downtown and major potential growth areas for people to buy and invest in. And then we should be supporting them in their desires to turn those into new businesses, residential areas. There's a chicken and the egg that's happening in downtown. It doesn't matter who you ask. Someone's going to tell me I say we need more residential density in downtown.
I agree.
Not everyone. That's a broad brush. I try not to.
A lot of folks.
A lot of folks will say, well, you can't have a downtown residential community until you have a grocery store, right? I don't believe that to be true, but we'll see what happens first. But I do think we need to build more residential dwellings in the downtown area that are nice and affordable for young professionals, young entrepreneurs, young families, young couples, military folks, all that. So downtown residential density.
For sure.
Couple of green space things to keep our eyes on. One of the things that was brought up at the council meeting again last night is that the city allocated and the county allocated $5 million to trails and pedestrian infrastructure projects. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There's been some talk about them. If it's possible to buy the Jackson Cut, which is a railroad line that goes from downtown all the way out to Jackson Hospital. And then
That would be a great
there's a
great
really
space.
cool piece of property that not a lot of people know about. It's commonly called Cypress Nature Preserve, but it's this large green space area behind Oak Cemetery and the 911 Communications Center. It's about 300 acres. It's got an 80-acre Tupelo swamp in the middle of it. It is absolutely stunning. It has been locked away from development because it is like a floodway or whatever. You can look on a map. It could be Montgomery Central Park if we decided to invest and develop it. It could look very much like the Lanark Center up in Millbrook, which gets people moving through all the time. And then also, just looking out at making sure that we are supporting development around other things. We have Blunt Cultural Park, Fane Park, other areas on the east and west side of Montgomery. But I do think we have to make sure that we are building a modern city in a modern downtown that is ready to take the next generation of really the workforce that is becoming more urban in their desires for living, right? You look at Atlanta and those types of places. You look at Greenville, people are moving towards the city center, not away from it. And so we have to have that, and then that will kind of spring out the businesses and other projects that we want to see in downtown. And Chattanooga is another great example. They brought a bunch of people into the city, right into the downtown. People who were living there said, man, I wish we had more of A, B, C, D, and E. And then they just started building it. And that is now they are where they are. So it's a long-term vision for sure. You can go online and look at the downtown master plan that was done last year. That just needs to stop gathering dust on a shelf, and hopefully we can put some of these things into action.
Well, a lot of people that ask, especially young people as far as moving, they want to live in a downtown environment. And we just, besides rentals, we don't have that really set up.
Well, and to give credit where it's due, and I remember working with Dan Morris all these years, his mother, Margaret Carpenter, and many others, did give an initial vision how to revitalize downtown here in Montgomery, and it does look a lot better than it used to, especially with the Renaissance and so much. That is great, but it seemed to stalled out to a certain extent, and I knew you would have a good answer, but I kind of want to go back to the beginning of what is, because Eddie seemed to know what it was, but what is like a land bank? Why would you need something like that?
Yeah, so, and actually you bring up Greenville, so the city and the chamber and the county just went on a kind of a fact-finding trip to Greenville. I was not able to go on it, but I know that some of the councilors were on there, the mayor and his staff and people from the chamber, county, whatever, learning about what was successful there. A land bank is basically a way for a city to publicly put in properties that they now have access to. So whether that be through tax liens, through abandonments, that type of thing, that you as an outside investor or somebody who's interested inside the city that wants to start a business can look at and make decisions about purchasing. And one of the nice connections that you have when somebody does that is that when they contact the city interested about it, the city gets some say in saying like, well, why are you interested in it? What are you wanting to do with it?
What are you looking to do?
And then we get to kind of work through the process of turning that into something that could be usable. In Boston, the area that I'm from, they have programs where not only if you inquire about a property will they help you acquire the property or sell you the property, lease you the property, whatever, but then connect you with all the people that you would need to go through the business licensing process, the inspections process. They call them small business counselors that really help walk you from idea to completion.
Right.
And they're that really kind of that person who, when you're having troubles with an electrical inspector or having troubles with the licensing, can go in there on your behalf and say, I have the weight of the mayor's office behind me, and I need you to find a solution with Eddie because he's trying to open up his donut shop in downtown, and we made them a promise we were going to get this business open within 18 months. And so what did they need to do? And just kind of
having that back though is a huge thing, because otherwise I'm just Eddie going, please somebody help me.
Exactly. And so a land bank is just a great way for giving people a knowledge of what is available. The railroads do that too. That's they have a railroad bank that tells people what is available railroad for purchase. And so Montgomery needs to have one. They need to promote it. They need to give people access to it. We need to find out what real estate assets are available and then figure out productive ways to develop them based on the plans and community input that we already have on the books.
We see it. We have so much potential in Montgomery. We do. We're a house that's got great bones. We just need somebody to come on in and finish us off. I mean, we've got some beautiful architecture downtown Montgomery.
For sure.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned Blunt Cultural Park because I've been on it. It happens every year, big Shakespeare kick.
Yeah.
And this guy over here even brought up like the whole Oxfordian authorship controversy
One
question
TikTok
the other
video
day.
and I blew the world away.
No, and it's like I thought, for all the bubbas out there, it's like, what are these guys talking about? But we got all these calls, so it was good. I guess people like Shakespeare.
I couldn't believe it.
No, but that's a true crown jewel of the city. Because I remember, if I'm remembering right, it lost state funding or something a while back, I believe.
It had a challenge a while back, but
yeah. So I just hope it stays put because that's a special place here.
Absolutely beautiful.
It is. And River Region Trails did a project with the city. They actually, is it Young Meadows is the road that's
Young
across
Meadows.
the way? Yeah. There's actually now a way for people in that neighborhood to walk.
Yeah.
They put in, and then they put a new sidewalk along Vaughn Road and a crosswalk over Vaughn Road into the park. Novel concept, I know. Safe pedestrian way so people just don't have to
I know it's
dodge
unique
traffic.
around here, but it can be done.
It can be done very simply. And so now, unlock it because it is an amazing asset.
It is.
And I don't remember exactly. I think we didn't win the national competition to get the dog park, but then the previous administration went ahead and funded the dog. That is awesome. And that just goes to show there are so many ways that we may be divided individually with people that are our neighbors or in our city. But I don't care what your political views are or where you go on Sunday mornings, whatever. When you bring your own dog to that dog park and you watch your dog and another dog play together, you just instantly make friends with your neighbors.
Yep.
And so those public spaces like that are so valuable to a city like ours.
Now we're pretty much running out of time, but
Sure.
Miss Love has been very patient. Hey, Miss Love, you're on with Andrew Szymanski.
Hi to everybody. I want to say I am a 21-year veteran. Started off as a Women Army Corps RAC. And I gave my property over there to the mayor. Someone could have turned it into something because we are the first. And I want to say that if you want it, well, the city have it because I did what I supposed to do to get rid of it that way. But another thing I want to say is the fact that I don't know why, because I jumped through every hoop Mayor Reed and Miss Holmes told me to. But I worked in the downtown library for years before I left here. But they denied my 2 Thanksgiving programs, give away money, and the Christmas program contest, giving away money. And I just feel like the people here, that some of them I talk to, that been here for years, that live here, that done contributed, we are so disappointed because, okay, bring stuff here. That's wonderful. But don't neglect us. That's what I'm saying. And we're being elected. I just wish, if I had my way, I would bring Mayor Emery Farmer right back here and put him in charge. Because we had a wonderful city back then. And I just want to say that.
Okay.
The people that been here, we're being overlooked. And that's wrong. And thank you for taking my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Love.
Thanks, Ms.
Thank
Love.
you. And I think that there is a important thing to be said is that when we talk about development and we are talking about all these things, we are charged with making sure Montgomery is a city that is competitive for the next generation of people. But you're very right. We have to make sure that our house is in good order and that we are making the necessary investments into our public safety, public works. We have some wonderful people that work in our police, fire, 911 centers that need to be supported by us. And also just all of the infrastructure projects for making your roads safer and whatnot. But, I do think that one thing that Montgomery needs to make sure in looking forward is that we don't be complacent. Every city around us is finding competitive, modern ways to attract people to come live at. Because at the core of it, right, your city is made up and funded by the number of citizens you have here. We lost 10,000 people in between the 2010-2020 census. That puts us at a competitive disadvantage, and we have to do things that will make people want to live in our city, whether it be in our downtowns, whether it be in our neighborhoods, and then of course support people once they get here. So also, whoever put the Trader Joe's finally comes to downtown Montgomery, I'm for that. So if you know an inside way to make that happen, let's bring Trader Joe's here. My girlfriend Amanda would be the happiest person in the whole wide world.
No, I know that guy. He's a former roommate of mine, and also a Catholic alum.
Oh, okay. There
What's
you
up,
go.
Jonathan? How you doing? Good idea. We're pretty much out of time
Sure.
here. But if folks want to kind of get in touch with you, I know you'll be back next month. But how can they do so if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, a couple of things. One is swearing in is on Tuesday. If you want to see the way government kicks off, it is open to the public. It's at the MPAC. The Renaissance. It's at 10 a.m. My phone number for council, I'm just putting it out there for now at least, 334-209-4757. And then my email address is info@andrews4mgm7.com. The 4 is FOR. I'll make sure that that gets shared around as well. My website is still up. And once I get sworn in, we'll be starting the week after Thanksgiving, after the New Year. In January, Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m., we'll be doing Coffee with the Counselor at Hilltop Public House up in Cottage Hill. I'll be available for 2 hours every week, 4 to 6, unless I have some other commitment that takes me away from it. So hopefully being accessible to people as much as possible.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
Of course.
Always like seeing you.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Appreciate
Looking
you doing
forward to
the hard
next
work,
time.
man.
Yeah, next time we'll get to talk about some things from the inside, and I look forward to that. So
And I got to come
thank
try
y'all
out
for
some
the
bagels. I
opportunity.
hear you got special bagels.
Hey, we fly them in overnight from New York every night. I'm a New Englander. I just couldn't
gotta
live in a
try
city
this.
that didn't have real bagels. So there you go.
That's awesome.
Again, folks, Andrew Szymanski will be sworn in next Tuesday. Look forward to getting more of the inside. Just see him at work. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Before we hit this break, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team, including the lovely and talented Madeline Cannon, can help you with whether you're looking to buy. And, even with all the craziness in the national economic headlines, even with interest rates being higher now as they try to beat inflation, it still could be the right time for you.
It is. I just got off the phone with Madeline just a few minutes ago. She's working with a first-time home buyer right now.
Yeah.
And you're right. Interest rates are a little bit higher than a lot of people are anticipating. But for this particular person, it's the right time for him now.
And it's the right time to always work with folks you can actually trust, who you can actually get to know. It's not some national company or folks hitting
That's
a
so
quota
important,
or whatever.
man. A local lender is so important.
And, of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal, especially if you're under mountains of credit card debt or any type of debt. And if you're a veteran, they're VA home loan certified there at Alabama Home Mortgage. They know the latest when it comes to those VA home loan programs. So, again, if you're a veteran, you earn these benefits through your service. You should take advantage of it. It's the best game in town. You're leaving money on the table if you don't. So whether it's a refinance deal or you're buying a home, Alabama Home Mortgage can help you out. Give them a call today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Hopefully we'll have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances after the break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
This extended string of warmer than normal temperatures continues, and soon showers will be back in the forecast, but not right away. Today, dry with lots of sunshine and warm temperatures, high around 83. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, still